So let's build on our subqueries here. We've taken a look at how a subquery can be used in the where clause, and we've also seen where it can be used as part of the select clause. Now, a subquery does have the ability to include a where clause within the inner part of that subquery. Now, let's take a look at how we would do this. So let's build this query from scratch. Let's take it from the start. I just say from the bank transaction table, and I'll just drag that on. And while you're there, I'm going to say select, and I just want that aggregate figure, that max amount. So I want to know what is the maximum amount from my bank transaction table. And I see that that's 1,000. So let me now create an inner query by simply putting this in round brackets. And above it, I'm going to start creating my outer query. So I say from, again, the bank transaction table. And I want to choose the other columns that I want to add to my result set to give my query some more meaning, to make it more meaningful. So I want to say select the account number, put a comma for another column, which I want to see, which is the transaction date. I also want to see the transaction description. And I want to see one more column, which is the amount. And here we have it. Now I have my outer query and I have my inner query, and I need to connect them, and I do that via the where clause. And I want to say where amount is equal to this target here. So great. I have basically reconstructed our example where we showed our inner query in our round brackets and our outer query above it. And we know that the target that this inner query is seeking is 1,000. So as we mentioned, this is an example of how we could include a where clause in our inner query, which is this part between the round brackets. So what if we were not interested in what's the maximum amount of all of the records in our table, but the maximum amount of the records that are less than a particular date? So let's add a where clause there and say where transdate, the transaction date, is less than, and we put single quotes because we're expecting a date, and I'll say 2014, October 15th. So let's see how this may change our target that we're looking for. Let's execute this. And we've gone from 1,000 to $993.50. That's the maximum amount that has taken place or has been spent that is less than this particular date that we've identified here. So we've included a where clause. And now let's run our entire SQL statement. So here we have our results that have been changed, where we get the maximum amount that is prior to a particular date. And we've identified that that is $993.50. And now by applying our outer query, we see all the supporting columns in addition to our target amount. And right here we see how we can be even more flexible with our queries by including a where clause within the nested or subquery area.